Good evening, I'm Marissa Hollowed. A St. James man is dead tonight after a crash. Right now, the terms of a settlement have not been released. Be on the lookout for porch pirates. Yes, that's what we're calling them.
They spent most of the day clearing out those priority routes. They've actually sent their crews home for the night tonight.
Well, I was just outside at the beginning of this newscast, and I think
our hands are still freezing cold.
Defrosting. A man is charged with 4 felonies in Boone County tonight after he used a weapon to force a woman to have sex with him. They'll have to find new ways, though, to fund school safety, and so will all Missouri schools for that matter. In a crime alert tonight, Moberly police are trying to find the person or people responsible for throwing mailboxes off of an overpass. The convention is following different themes each night. You recall Mondays was Make America Safe Again.
You need to get out.
No, I don't.
That was the last time we heard Melissa Click speak, but tonight that's all changing.
Some people were calling that interview awkward.
Hallie is in Jacksonville right now. Hallie, welcome, and can you tell us what you've been seeing tonight? Joe, neighbors tell you they feel unsafe. Results are coming down into our newsroom. Our ABC 17 crews join us live from across the state.
For a look at our weather, and Sharon, it's cold out here, but the wind is certainly making it a little bit more brutal.
Over a block door they claim is costing them thousands. Millions of dollars in grants were announced today by Governor Nixon in Columbia. Chief Meteorologist Sharon Ray is tracking those hotter temperatures. Extra troopers will be out catching speeders and enforcing traffic laws. So Jim Sturk has announced his resignation at San Diego State University. We also know that the UN Board of Curators typically holds a meeting like this one when they vote and then announce a new hire. I have the indictment right here. It charges Haley with 4 counts of assault.
Austin, I know you spend a lot of time around the football team. Was there any indication that something like this was going to happen?
No, that's a great question.
I wanted to spend more time outside this week because the weather was so nice, but I kind of missed the opportunity, I feel like.
Tomorrow you can get out.
Well, hey, there's positive news. Have a great night.
Kimmel's next. Good night.
I found right now the number of reported rapes in Columbia is at an all-time high. Residents in one neighborhood are especially concerned after a man allegedly raped multiple women living there and then committed suicide. Many living in the East Campus neighborhood point to one issue connecting all the crimes. It's too dark.
A man came and he started trying to attack me.
Abby Jensen describes the night she no longer felt safe living on East Campus.
I was scared for sure. I couldn't sleep that night. Sexual assaults, burglaries.
Jensen's friend, Sarah Sprick, is scared too.
Our front door, the window was just smashed through.
After someone tried to break into the house she's renting, Sprick started a petition asking the city of Columbia for more lighting on East Campus.
It's completely pitch black, and I mean, you go from being under light to complete darkness.
Street lighting is one of those things that, believe it or not, it's controversial.
But a change isn't that simple.
When someone from an existing neighborhood wants a street light added, they need to check in with their neighbors, get some buy-in, make sure that their neighbors are okay with the street light being added.
And many homeowners say they don't want more lights.
And I always feel pretty safe wherever I am throughout the Columbia. So a lot of that might be perception versus a reality type of thing.
The lighting in East Campus was first put in around 1940. It has not been updated since. The city did receive a complaint in 2014 about the lighting on Anthony Street, where the most rapes have occurred, but said it tested the area and found the lighting to be, quote, adequate. The question I had trouble getting a clear answer to is what defines adequate lighting?
It's hard to articulate how, at least from the cities, how we go about it.
Water and Light's stance in this is that it's really a community decision.
Case by case, yeah, it really is like that.
47, 48. I decided to test the lighting on my own with a light meter app I downloaded, measuring brightness between streetlights. I'm standing directly between 2 streetlights here on Anthony Street, and the lux measure is 2. For perspective, our TV studio has a lux measure of 470. Here, right in the middle of these 2 streetlights, I'm getting a measure of 5 lux. I found the Magnolia Falls subdivision,
3, 4, 5, 6,
and a few others to be brighter than East Campus.
That's a scary street too.
The girls hope to see more police if their petition isn't enough.
They will be on the lookout, making sure to not be reactive, but be preventative.
Sprick plans to bring her petition to the city council. I'll be there when that happens.
Hold on.
All passengers, please remain sheltered.
Michelle and Isabella Piso speak with me on FaceTime while sitting on the floor of the Fort Lauderdale airport. Moments after they arrived,
200-300 people started just running. So I grabbed my daughter and we started running, and I hear people saying, "Stay low, stay low," and I'm thinking, oh my God, we're gonna die.
the two ran from the terminal back to their car in the parking garage. On the way, they saw a wounded man.
Looked like he was shot in the abdomen. He was laying down outside on the sidewalk. Somebody was with him, holding his arms up over his head. I don't know if that person survived or not. I mean, there was an awful lot of blood. He was moving when they got here, so I hope he's okay.
When they made it back to their car, they heard more yelling.
Like, they were like, get down, get down. And then, like, I was like, oh my God, the shooter's like gonna come and like shoot in the car.
So police found you in your car, then what happened?
There's a lot of commotion, and they yanked us out of the car. They said to get the hell out. And then, like, the cop came and, like, got us out. Yeah, we were huddled down pretty much. I thought we were gonna be dead.
No, you need to get out. You need to get out.
No, I don't.
That was the last time we heard Melissa Click speak, but tonight that's all changing as she finally breaks her silence. Click reached out to ABC 17 News for her first ever interview following that infamous viral video and an assault charge that was later deferred. Tonight I talked to Click about the viral moment, the fallout, and what's next.
What happened after that happened really quickly.
Do you regret it?
Sure, I regret it. When I watch the video, I feel sorry. I feel embarrassed by my actions.
Hey, who wants to help me get this reporter out of here? I need some muscle over here.
I never was calling for violence. It's just something that came out. I'm hoping that the people who will watch this interview will be able to identify with saying something in a hectic and flustering moment that they didn't mean, and you can only hope in a moment like that that you're not being recorded and that it won't be put on YouTube.
Have you ever had contact with professional activists before?
I'm sure I have met people who are professional activists, but no, I am not a professional activist, nor have I been involved with professional activists.
And had you, been in touch with Mike Middleton before that at any point?
No.
Jonathan Butler during his hunger strike, were you in touch with him during that point?
No, I've never met Jonathan Butler.
Just at the homecoming parade?
I mean, I stood with him, but we didn't speak.
Okay, so you've never had a conversation, interaction with him? Not even afterward?
No, I don't recall so.
Just so I understand, the first kind of interaction you ever had with Concerned Student 1950 was at that homecoming parade?
Absolutely. That was another moment that for me happened very quickly, and I was really moved by the students' message and disappointed with the crowd's angry reaction.
Do not engage!
Engage. What the are you talking about?
I stepped forward, not knowing these students at all, to stand with them to let them know that they wouldn't be alone.
Were you aligning your beliefs with their movement as well?
I saw them as a student group that was asking the university, the administration, for help. And so I guess what I aligned myself with was helping students who were in need of help.
Oh, a lot of people say, hey, you're a communications professor. You know about the First Amendment. Why did this happen the way it did?
Well, I think context is really important. I didn't see any police present on campus that day. I think that raises a lot of questions about who was in charge of the university that day.
Were you surprised when you were charged with assault?
I wasn't surprised that I was charged given the politically charged nature of the video. I think that the prosecutor was under a lot of pressure to have people feel that he held me accountable. But I do think that ultimately, because he deferred and dismissed the charge, he believed that I shouldn't be found guilty of misdemeanor assault.
You have been the target of many lawmakers right now. Putting the university under a lot of pressure, talking about budget cuts. You've kind of been the poster of that.
What has that been like for you, having the legislature be so involved?
Well, I think it's fairly common these days that public universities' missions are finding themselves at odds with the boards and the legislatures that govern and fund them. Difficulties with the Missouri legislature have a long history involving politics and money. So yes, maybe I have become the poster child of this current battle. I think that if that video hadn't been recorded, somebody else would be the face of it because the struggle was already there.
Have you ever considered that stepping down would be a good option for the university as a whole?
I do believe that the mistakes that I made that day should be put in the greater context of my 12 years at the University of Missouri.
So what's next for you?
Well, I hope I'm put back in my classroom soon. My students want me back. I'm ready to be back in my job. I don't believe I'm a danger to anyone. I have a lot to give the University of Missouri still, so I am awaiting good news from the Board of Curators that I can go back to the classroom. And I'm going to stay and fight for my job.
Once the cameras were off and I was walking Melissa Click to the door after the interview, she said to me, quote, "I hope people see me as a person and not a monster," end quote. You can check out the entire nearly half-hour interview for yourself. It's all posted on abc17news.com.